I'm an Australian artist, Ken Johnson. When I was on the beach in Byron Bay, I got a call to say my son had been taken hostage in a ISIS-inspired siege in the centre of Sydney, the Lindt Cafe. First, upon hearing this, I couldn't believe it. I was just stunned. But my natural response was reflex was just to get down to Sydney and be as close as I could to him. It became progressively worse, and the family united in the Supreme Court building, and we were held back from any information for the whole duration of it. The only time we came in contact with anyone who had anything to say about what had happened was when they told us that my son had been executed. And of course, the whole world knew about this at the time. And so it's been 5 years since our family has tried to get through the pain of not only the media, but all the aspects of how it happened, why it happened, who was to blame, and everything. Last year, I should say, I was on my way to India to do an Ayurvedic cleanse, just to clear my mind if I could. But a friend in Portugal said I should come over and he would look after me over there much better. So I took his advice and I came over. And I ended up in a music bar at night, and I was introduced to a singer who made me cry. Just the voice made me cry. And this is, of course, Susana Travassos, a diva in South America, in Portugal, in Europe. And I got to know her, and she said she was a contestant in the Eurovision Song Contest. And in that time, I thought I would just reflect on what had happened over the last, at that time, 4 years. And I started writing poetry, as I normally have done all my life. Next minute, I found myself in a situation where there was a microphone and a computer, and all of a sudden all these people started appearing, because obviously she'd read the poetry that I'd written, and she decided that they could be songs. And of course, then they became songs. And it was all about how I felt about how the whole thing, or the whole siege, was handled. For me, it was a very cathartic thing, because I'd been going to counsellors for that long and not getting anywhere, and in fact they were just reducing me to tears, and I was just feeling so desperate that I had to try something totally new. So I did. After 4 or 5 weeks, she organised for us to record the whole album in the Atlantico Blue Studios in Lisbon. And all of a sudden numerous musicians, famous, fantastic musicians, appeared. And during that time, I asked my friend Tony Castagnoli, who is a visual artist like myself, a wonderful sculptor and painter, and he has such an amazing voice that I just thought I'd like to include him to represent the visual artists rather than the audio artists. So then, in this time, Susanna's amazing musician friend and producer, Chekhov, had arrived in Lisbon, and she asked him would he like to produce the whole album, which he was delighted to do, having heard the story. And so we formed a little band called And Then Band, because I used to say and then ... all the time, and it just caught on, and that's how we decided to call what we called the band. So, moving on, we recorded all the songs and started to edit, and it went from Portugal to Brazil, from Brazil to Melbourne, and here we are, a whole album later, and about 1.25 years later. And this video is to honour my son, as I said, but also to give the world some hope that something as bad as this that has happened can produce something very sweet. On the 15th of December, it marks the 5th anniversary of his death. And I want to share my experience of making this video with you so that you can understand I'm doing this from my heart. And I want to spread the words of peace, love, and unity in the world. Thank you.